I think it's a big chance that we can make the playoffs because now we know each other, we know the teams that we're going to face.
Our hope is to make playoffs. We got the talent to do it.
And if we do get a little bit better, we will be in the playoffs.
We have to make the playoffs in my eyes. I think if we don't make the playoffs, it's a failure.
Just 2 more days till you can follow those beautiful chants into the Citrus Bowl for Orlando City's season opener. Hey everyone, he's Christian, I'm Joe, and this is our Orlando City season preview special presented by Southeast Steel.
We're hanging out in Orlando City's downtown offices. Over the next half hour, we'll get you ready for the second season of Orlando City in Major League Soccer. We'll also take a look back at some of the biggest moments from year 1 in MLS. But as you just heard, year 2, all about the playoffs.
After falling 5 points short last year, they knew they needed to bring in reinforcements, so they did what anyone would do, grab a top-tier midfielder from Italy's Serie A. Antonio Nocerino has played for some of the best clubs in the world, including AC Milan, where he was teammates with Kaká for 1 season. Head coach Adrian Heath called the 30-year-old a versatile player who can fill multiple positions and needs.
The Lions also made some noise with their decision to let goalkeeper Tally Hall go. The 30-year-old pitched 5 shutouts last year, but suffered a second major knee injury near the end of the season. So the team went out and picked up Joe Bendik from Toronto FC to compete with Earl Edwards Jr. for the starting spot in goal. Based on the preseason, it looks like Bendik has won that competition. The 6'2", 217-pounder started the first 4 preseason matches and is expected to get the call for Sunday's season opener.
Nobody's given anything. You have to earn it. I was a third-string goalkeeper when I went to Portland and, played 4 games that year. So anything can happen at any point. You're around a whole bunch of new players. You have to earn their respect, and you have to earn the coach's respect and, earn your starting spot.
This is Orlando City's main conference room, where many of those personnel decisions were made. And it's also the room where they did several mock drafts, getting ready for the annual MLS Super Draft. They had 2 names very, very high on their list. Here's the inside look at how they were able to bring both of them back from Baltimore.
Today's always a special day. When you're at the Super Draft, it's a special place to be. When you're on the clock and you know you're going to make your decisions and you're looking to bring home the talent you've identified, it's a pretty special day. It's kind of the beginning of the season for everyone.
Orlando City SC select from the University of Akron and a member of Generation Adidas, midfielder Richmond Larea.
We just think his upside's enormous. We've watched him very, very closely.
I want to say thank you to the MLS and Orlando City as a whole. This is very exciting for me. I can't wait to start my career here.
DC United have traded their 13th overall first-round 2016 Super Draft pick to Orlando City.
It was a really good deal for us, and I think they were pleased with it too, so we got what we wanted out of it, and it's been a good day.
Orlando City SC selects from the University of Central Florida, forward Haji Barry.
This is a guy we've been able to watch most of the year, and he's got a lot to learn, but we think he has an incredible upside, incredible athlete.
We had 3 players in mind as we came into the draft, and coming down to the 13th pick, one of those 3 players was still available, and we think this young boy has got a big upside for us.
It didn't take long for the rookies to make an impact on the field. Haji Barry had a couple goals in the first preseason game. Larea assisted on one of those. The rest of the team has had no trouble filling the sheet either, including the captain. Kaká scored 4 goals in a 3-game span, including this beauty of a free kick. But Seb Hines was even more impressive in the preseason finale, finding the back of the net 4 times, all of them on set pieces, showing how potent the Lions offense plans to be this season.
The history of Orlando City and their many accomplishments is plastered throughout the walls here in their offices. None of those accomplishments would have been possible without teamwork. Here is where we start the countdown of our top 5 moments from Orlando City's first year in Major League Soccer. Moment number 5, a beautiful choreography of teamwork bliss.
I remember coming down the right side, and my job was to get in the back post. The ball came across, and I could have headed it towards goal, and I kind of saw Avi running in, so I kind of just laid it off. He did well to finish it.
The goal was lovely, but if you look at the way we played all day, we were in control from minute 1 till the end of the game. 4-0, live all over America, and the fact that it was the Galaxy, because they've been the standard bearers of this league for so long, so that was a special day for us.
I think it was our first win at home, and we went up 1-0 early on LA. Obviously, they're a big team, so it was a very special moment last year.
Kevin Molino, the two-time USL Pro MVP, was not on the field for that moment. He was injured in a friendly just 2 weeks earlier. After 10 months of intense physical therapy and weightlifting, Molino intends to be the difference in 2016.
14 minutes into a friendly, the worst injury of Kevin Molino's career.
Leaving the game is number 18, Kevin Molino.
First injury I ever had, and it's very difficult to deal with.
A torn ACL ended his first season in Major League Soccer, exiling him from the game he loved, but never crushing his spirit or determination.
I'm the type not to dwell on things. You know, I have an injury and I come to Team Sudan. I'm not trying to stress out on anything. I just want to go out there and do my part.
10 months later, the scar, now a fading reminder.
Take from my patella here, this is the main scar, and both of my meniscus here.
But not the only change to Molino's body, working with surgeons and doctors at Orlando Health to return bigger and stronger.
I'm excited about the prospects of him participating at the highest level possible, and not just being the player he was before, but helping him go down the pathway to become the player that he can be.
Being in the gym every day, you know, your body get accustomed to it, and you're seeing improvement when you see abs and your core, and you know you want to keep that going and look good.
Now all of a sudden, because he looks like he looks good in his Speedos. He likes the gym now, so he likes showing his body off. So he's worked really hard in the off season. So it's great to have him back in.
Finally back out there with the guys, and to put a smile on my face again, to be doing something I love best, being on the grass and joining the guys. You know, I'm very happy to be out there, and you know, I'm not going to take it for granted.
Every job is important when you're working for a highly motivated franchise, but there may not be a more important job here at Orlando City right now than trying to get 62,000 back in the Citrus Bowl on opening day.
And they sold out of season tickets 18,000 months ago. They averaged 32,000 fans last year. They're hoping to beat that number starting on Sunday. They hope to fill the bowl again.
If you were at the stadium last year, you know how incredible the environment was. This is the Mediate family, season ticket holders who were part of that 62,000. They'll be back at the Citrus Bowl Sunday, hoping for a repeat of that remarkable experience.
The experience of the first game was amazing, more than we could have hoped for. The kids loved it, we loved it, and they still talk about it. They're really excited for this season to start.
Just up the road, the Lions' new downtown stadium is also beginning to go vertical. The first pieces of steel were installed earlier this week, showing the metal skeleton of what will eventually be the supporter section. The $155 million soccer palace will eventually have more than 10 million pounds of steel.
We'll have updates of the construction, including exclusive tours as the project develops. You can see them on the new Orlando City Insider, your best source for an inside look at the club. It'll air every Saturday night at 10:30 on TV 27 throughout the season.
One player, as we mentioned, who spent too much time in the trainer's room last year was Kevin Molino.
Yeah, I think we're all excited to see him back on the field. Also, Kaká happy to have his teammate back. The captain's tribute to Kevin Molino is moment number 4 on our countdown.
In that moment, I thought for Molino was important that he felt that the team supported him in that moment. So I tried to just make a tribute for him, that to give him some strength and power to keep going.
I've just done surgery 2 days ago, and it was a difficult moment for me, you know, and that does make me feel special, you know, and words cannot express the way how I feel about that, and you know, I just want to tell him thank you publicly. You know, that's an amazing moment for me, where I'll cherish for the rest of my career.
Coming up, Christian, I and Phil are going to the pub to talk about one of the most important days in Orlando City history.
Well, Welcome back to our Orlando City preseason special. One of the coolest features here at the Lions offices is the City Pub. It's a nod to the team's history. 8 years ago, Adrian Heath and Phil Rollins came together in a small pub outside of Stoke called Blakey's. Now, we didn't have the budget to fly everyone back to England, so I brought Adrian and Phil to Fiddler's Green in Winter Park to take a look back at that fateful meeting.
How did that come about, and how did it go down in that pub in Stoke?
A group of combined friends always gathered in Blakey's every Christmas Eve. Still do it. They still do it today. So there's probably about 30, 40 people, Adrian, in the pub, and friends, families, children. It's kind of just a kind of social coming together just before Christmas. And I was there having a beer, and the next thing I know, I'm kind of pinned to a wall in a corner by this guy.
I've got the quiz book out there.
I want the job.
So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this club? And the one thing that was quite apparent from the beginning, it was in its infancy.
It was. My first question was, how do you know? Because at the time, no one really knew. And then, obviously, I quickly figured out it was a mutual friend who'd said something. And Adrian was, to be fair, was very persistent, shall we say. He was very clearly focused on,
Was there maybe a handshake that night, or did it kind of fester its way throughout the
No, I think if anything, I was probably a little more, should we say, hard to catch, because to be honest, the planning was really in its infancy. We were literally putting the original business plan together, and I just felt like Adrian was too qualified, and quite honestly, we couldn't afford a top manager from a top league in Western Europe to be able to come over, because at the time our plans were to launch a minor league team. So you knew what the budget was, and I didn't think we were able to afford Adrian. So I was a little bit standoffish.
He's still using that line. We haven't got enough money. I'm still hearing it now.
You hear that though? Why did you say yes?
Well, a lot of things. So we sort of left it that you'd get back to me when you had a little bit more news on it.
That's right. Yeah.
And obviously by then I'm really getting involved and trying to find out as much as I can.
Yeah.
And although I knew that this was going to be USL, for me, if that was going to be a stepping stone, maybe even to go on to Major League Soccer or something, because I felt like I needed a change from what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And not only did I believe in what was going to happen in the States, more importantly, once we'd sat down, and hey, it wasn't its infancy, but the thought of growing something completely from nothing, and there was literally nothing. We had no colours then, we had no training ground, we had no players, anything.
8 years later, you guys are on the doorstep of year 2 in Major League Soccer. Do you have to pinch yourself when you see from that night in Blakey's to where it's at right now?
I think if we'd have said we were going to be where we are now, I think that might have been a bit far-fetched. But I know that mutually along the way, 3 or 4 years in, we thought, this is taking off here. This could actually be really big time.
Phil, to have Adrian, to have one coach with you throughout the entire process, how nice has that been for you?
It's been fantastic. It's been, I don't think many clubs have that. You don't have that consistency, you don't have that. And even when we first sat down, when we first talked about a contract, I said to Adrian, look, let's do 3 years, right? Because it's going to take 2 to 3 years for you to establish yourself, your pattern of play, the players. I'm a big believer in consistency. So many clubs, to my mind today, are so quick to change leadership when there's really no need to. It's tweaking small things within the organization, not changing the whole organization. So it's been great for us to have that consistency. The style of play I would say it's the same, but because it's migrated a little bit, but it's pretty much what we set out right back in the interview. I asked him how he wanted to play and the style he wanted to play, the way he wanted to play, and that to me was key. You did. I said, which team? If you remember, I said, which team would you say you wanted to most play like? And he said, I'd have to say it was Arsenal. I said, well, if you can build a team that plays like Arsenal, that'll do for me. So.
Still trying.
Time now to continue our countdown. If Orlando City wants to add to their trophy case, they need more plays like play number 3. It's Seb Hines' late game winner against Montreal that kept their postseason hopes alive.
Now Bowden, ball back in, headed once, twice, yes! Seb Hines! What a time for his first goal as a Lion!
It was just instinctive to put something back towards the goal. So yeah, it was an unbelievable moment. It was one of my best moments in my career. So I was just happy to be involved in something so epic as that.
We'd been on that run, and I kept saying to him, if we can get this, if we can still be in it by the time we get Montreal at home, you know, we've got a great chance. And then to score the goal later on, I think you only have to see the reaction of not only the players but the staff and the crowd, you know, to tell you what a special moment it was.
Coming up, we'll head back to the pub where I'll tell you about my expectations for MLS Season 2.
Welcome back. Defy expectations. This wasn't just the year one mantra for Orlando City. The organization still lives by those words today. Now, the goal for year two is once again a lofty one, but Phil and Adrian believe that what they learned in year one could help them in their sophomore campaign.
You guys put the expectations out there of playoffs so close. How disappointing was that for you? Because it seems as though since you've been here, you've reached every goal you've put out there, and this is the first well-publicized one that you weren't able to reach.
Yeah. Well, Phil knows more than most. I was hugely disappointed, wasn't I?
We all were.
I was really upset that we hadn't made it, because if I'm being honest deep down, we had the team capable of doing it.
Yeah.
There were mitigating circumstances along the way. You know, our injury situation was something that obviously you can never cope for. Suspensions, you know, red cards, too many of them. And all that at times caught up with us. But when I look at it in the cold light today and look at the players that we had, it was achievable. So that for me has been the biggest disappointment since I've been in the States.
So those are some of the difficult aspects of year one, but what was some of the more enjoyable aspects of that first year in Major League Soccer? Phil,
I mean, the crowd, the fans, the community, the fans were unbelievable, absolutely. Week in, week out, you go down there, and the amount of people in the stadium, the noise they made, the way they got behind the team, week in and week out, that for me was just like, I just used to love going to the games to just hear the fans and feel that passion and feel that enthusiasm and excitement.
And it was how much the team meant to the community. Yeah. That for me was incredible.
Huge.
You know, and I've noticed the difference just walking around the city since I've been here, but to suddenly see the players as celebrities was pretty cool to see how far we'd come.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it will always be the opening day. Nothing will ever top that. And we've had some great days along the way, some great games, but the opening day, seeing the bowl full, I thought he's gone too far this time, right? You know, that hashtag fill the bowl. I thought, all right, that's a good one. I'm not sure that one's going to last, but to have that day and then see how far we'd come and how much hard work had gone into it, how much emotion that we'd sort of gone along to get to where we were was a really special day. And I was pleased that we got a result at the end that we deserved, because I didn't want it ending a downer that we got beat 1-0. And I just wanted everybody who'd worked so hard, like to Phil and all the people in the front office, some of them who've been with us for a long, long time, to have that special day. And that was what it was. It turned out to be a special day for all of us.
Adrian, you've alluded to this throughout the first couple weeks of training. How far along are you going into year two versus year one?
In terms of training, we're probably 2 or 3 weeks, I think, further on than we were this time last year. So we've saved ourselves 2 weeks somewhere along the line. You know, now we're getting down to tactical work, not physical work, you know, because everybody's comfortable.
You guys haven't been shy about expectations, heaping them on a team. What are they for year two, Phil?
To me, and we've answered this question a few times now, they're the same as they were in year one. The challenge and the goal has to be to make the playoffs. We said it last year, and I think a lot of people thought that it was marketing hype or something. It really wasn't. We had absolute faith and expectation that we could make that goal and we could make it happen, and we were disappointed not to. So the goal has to be the same, it's to make the playoffs, because as Portland proved, once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. You can win a championship.
A championship in year two? Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to seeing Kyle Larin in any game against a team from New York. In 4 games against the Red Bulls and NYCFC last year, Larin had 8 goals.
Yeah, his hat trick and record-breaking strike against the Red Bulls. It's moment number 2 in our countdown.
Honestly, I remember scoring my last goal when I just fired it into the top corner, and honestly, when I scored the first two, it just kept coming, and I think that game really showed what kind of team we are.
That was an exceptional performance, but for Kyle to get the goal, you know, everybody thought I was going to leave him out, and I have to be honest, I spoke to him the day of the game. I was thinking of leaving him out before the game, and I'm glad I didn't, because obviously the rest was history.
Fewer than 44 hours to go until the second season kicks off. And don't forget, you can watch Orlando City's opener Sunday right here on Central Florida's TV 27. Coverage starts at 1:30.
This is one of my favorite spots in the Orlando City offices. In one of their meeting rooms, they have this giant picture from opening day last year, 62,510 in attendance. Let's hope for a scene like this come March 6th.
And this is also where we end our preseason special and our countdown of the top 5 moments from the first season, because of course, it had to be Kaká.
Takes it, and it's the
One of the best days in my career, because I really wanted to score the first goal of this team in the MLS, and the first game, the whole supporters in the stadium, everything. So that day, it's a special day.
I didn't care who scored. The fact that it was him actually made it even better. The fact that it was our superstar that made it better. But it was just an accumulation of everything that had gone on for the previous 7-8 years, and I didn't want to end on a downer. So it will always be that day, the most memorable day for me.
Nobody had left, nobody wanted to leave, nobody believed that we were going to lose this game. So I think it was a ball that was drawn into a net by 60,000 fans as much as anything. So, and it typified the spirit of the team, the spirit of the club, the spirit of our fan base. That, you know, we weren't prepared to let it go on a loss, and it felt like a win because of that.